There's a thought out there of amongst Christians of live and let live.
Mm.
I talk to people who've had Christians who have had that idea, like we'll just mind our own business as Christians
Yep.
and let the culture
Go its own way.
do its own thing. The problem is that, and I've been conscious of this lately, is that if you have that view of kind of abdicating or
Yes.
withdrawing, should I say, someone will come into that gap and force you to do things you don't want to do, or it won't be. You will soon be in the position where that withdrawal will not be good enough for you.
Yeah, in the next session, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But just to say, you think about how false a statement like that is: live and let live. The Bible says the wages of sin is what? Death. It's not life. So if you leave people to their own devices, in terms of the gospel, say, well, we'll just mind our own business, keep ourselves to ourselves. That's not letting people live. That's letting people die. It's actually saying that the commandment that God gives us to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second, Jesus said, is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Doesn't have any meaning. For us to abdicate, remember what I said yesterday, that culture is only the public expression of the worship of a people. It's religion externalized. Now, if that's true, what that statement really means that people are making is, I don't care that people are idolaters. I don't care that people worship other gods. They can go to hell in a handbasket. I don't care. That's what it actually means. Because culture is only people's applied beliefs. It's the application of their worship. And when people's hearts are turned to Jesus Christ, it of necessity alters culture. So if we say, well, we're just going to live and let live, we're living a lie. We're actually saying they can die as far as we're concerned. We don't care. Second of all, there's the implicit dualism that I spoke about in this lecture there. There's a two-story view of the world. It's basically saying, we'll keep ourselves to ourselves because our Christianity is merely a spiritual thing about heaven and the soul and so forth. They can do what they want, right? This is what's important up here. So it doesn't really matter what goes on down here. And then suddenly, with that kind of attitude, people are in the gulag or the concentration camp or the German church, the German evangelical church tries to develop the Reich Church during Hitler's rise to power. Are we that stupid that we believe that anti-Christian ideologies can't arise again anywhere at any time? Germany was one of the most highly developed cultures in the world. And anti-Christian ideology took root, transformed vast swathes of the church. And it was the confessing church part of the evangelical church there with their Barmen Declaration that had people like Bonhoeffer in it that resisted tyranny and said, no, Jesus is Lord, not the Führer. So, but you can see the idea there is that the world doesn't matter, culture doesn't matter, creation doesn't really matter. They can do whatever they like. Perhaps it's neutral, and we'll just join in where we can. But it's not. Every aspect of life, all of life is religion. Every single aspect of life is informed by a religious world and life view. And somebody's morals, somebody's ideas are informing education, law, medicine. Someone's doing it. Not no one. So if it's not Christ and his word that's giving shape to cultural life, it's some other word, some other incantation that we've just talked about. So you're absolutely right. The idea that we can just say, well, live and let live, you're basically saying, no, we'll live, you die. And we'll live in this spiritual plane up here, but we don't really care about creation and the rest of the world and culture. It doesn't matter. It's not important to God. That's a lie.